Saying.
Take a number. Where's Dr. Bloom at?
She's down, I think, in L.A.
Is she really?
Yeah, I think so. This time she's going to come back to help me set up the test, she said.
I love her.
That was a 20-minute video.
Because I've had to set up the test myself. She felt guilty. Okay. So we have 3 parts to the ear. The external ear. Biggest part being the
Oracle
pinna, which funnels the sound waves into the external auditory canal or meatus. Plays a little rhythm on the eardrum, also known as the
tympanic membrane.
Then we go to the middle ear. So there's air here, of course, the hair and wax and maybe a few bugs.
Are you
Whatever.
being serious about that?
What? That's all. Well, if I am, hopefully they get stuck there.
It's an orifice. It's
Yeah, they clap.
should have a.
And I hope they aren't there, but they're good cyan. Okay. Then the middle ear also has air, so both the external and middle ear are only for hearing. And attached, she's going to bring me my oh, right there in the middle. There it is. I think I'm getting better. I thought I was getting sick, but I think it's allergies.
It's your sinus. Give me some Sudafed.
That's an awfully large steak piece.
Dry you out.
Yes. I just took something.
Is this going to stimulate your sympathetic or your parasympathetic?
I'm just hoping. I suppose
It's the slud.
Sleepy, so that's good. Okay, so this is called the malleus, and that's stuck up against the tympanic membrane. And you can see a little place where they've colored it to show you where it's attached.
Hammer time, baby.
Okay. And we're going from the tympanic membrane to the malleus, which is also called the
Hammer.
to the
Anvil.
also called the anvil. To
Incus.
the
Stapes. Stirrups.
Stirrup. Okay.
Oval window.
And notice it has an oval foot, which fits in the oval window. So that should help you remember. So we're going from a much larger surface to a much smaller surface. So besides conducting the sound, we're amplifying it also. Okay? And there's muscles here to dampen the sound in case you get too loud a sound. There's the tensor tympani attached to the malleus and the stapedius attached to the stapedius. So a very loud sound comes in, they contract them so you don't blow up your system. Okay. Also, there's this opening here. Eustachian tube or pharyngotympanic tube or auditory tube. And this is normally collapsed, but it opens up when you yawn or chew to equalize the pressure on both sides of the eardrum.
Like when you drum, go into the mountains.
Yeah. So that equalizes the pressure. Otherwise, it hurts sometimes or it can interfere with your hearing. Well, a middle ear infection is very otitis media. Very common infection, often in the middle ear.
For little kids,
because
right?
you can get things from the throat, especially in little kids. This eustachian tube is almost horizontal, and it's undeveloped, so infections can come from the throat up to your ear. And that can cause serious problems, but like bones fusing together, etc. Meningitis.
And then tubes.
And sometimes they try to avoid antibiotics these days. They stick little tubes in the ear to help drain it, to relieve the pressure.
So it goes away.
And then the little ear thing, hopefully, and then the little tubes drop out eventually. Hopefully this way, not that way. Okay, so that's the middle ear, and so these are much enlarged middle ear bones. Much enlarged. So imagine trying to fit them in there. It would be hard. And here's our inner ear. And 3 major parts to the inner ear. It's all carved out of bone, so that's called the bony labyrinth. And then following the bony labyrinth inside is the membranous labyrinth. And there's lots of fluids in there. Okay. Now this is the cochlea part. That's the snail-looking part is for hearing.
Sound.
Sound, yeah, hearing. And so you see this repeating thing as it goes round and round and round. Okay. And look at the pictures there in just a second. You should look at them under the microscope. Then we have the vestibular apparatus, made up of 2 things. And by the way, all these tubes are all interconnected, so I'm not sure how that has to do with hearing, but they're all interconnected. This is called the vestibule, which has the 2 sacs called the
Saccule
and utricle. Okay? And what are the receptors called? Maculae. And the maculae have these little hair cells sticking up, And they're actually microvilli, long microvilli, embedded in gelatinous material that has little otoliths in it. Okay. And it's calcium carbonate, like chalk. When you tilt your head, gravity pulls on that fluid and the little chalky things, and that bends the hair cells. And that's how you can tell your head is tilted. So it's for what we call static equilibrium, like is my head tilted or not, and linear acceleration. Semicircular canals are at 90-degree angles to each other, and they have these enlarged areas called ampullae, and inside the crista ampullaris, which has little hair cells sticking up again. But now we don't have any otoliths. We just have this thing called a cupula. And when you move your head, it can tell you which way you're moving your head because it's in 3 dimensions. And endolymph that pushes against that gelatinous material, the cupula, bends the hair cells so you know which way you're turning. Because some get stimulated, some don't get stimulated. And by the way, we do have accommodation occurring here. What's accommodation? What is accommodation? Anybody know what accommodation is?
Seeing up close.
Huh?
Seeing up close.
A different kind of accommodation. There's different kinds of accommodation. This is a different kind of accommodation. This is the hearing accommodation. This has to do with sensory information. If it's unchanging, you get used to it, sort of. You know, like cold water. You said stop sending as many impulses. And actually, you know, we accommodate in our inner ear too. For example, when we are moving through space. We're moving on the planet, round and round and round, and then the planet's moving around the sun. And I don't know about you, but I'm not normally aware of that. Okay, so that's the type of accommodation.
So that's the basic, right?
Basic. Tonic means that you're not getting used to it, like pain usually you don't get used to. Okay. Smells are basic. Vision, I don't know. I don't think so.
I'd say you're getting the sensory stimulus all the time.
Yeah, so I think it would be, I think it would be tonic. Hearing, I think, can be basic. It sounds you get used to.
And equilibrium is, you're saying, is basic also?
It can be somewhat, yes.
Somewhat. Is there going to be a little box mark somewhat?
Oh, well, I mean, it's a little birdie. Oh, good. You got it out. I hate it when little birdies get stuck in there. So I don't know how much. I mean, I think there's some senses are more basic than others, but I'm not sure how much. We certainly are not aware of moving around, you know, that we're tilted probably on the earth, etc. Okay, so have I left out anything? And things like the bones, conduction deafness. This is more easily corrected with hearing aids. Sensory neural deafness is hard to correct, but we do have things like cochlear implants, but they're very controversial in the deaf community. I think that's about it. So we take a little break now? Yeah.